A Russian mechanized assault worth tens of millions of dollars moved toward Ukrainian defensive lines with everything the doctrine requires. Tanks to provide weight and direct fire. Armored personnel carriers to protect infantry during the advance. Self-propelled artillery positioned behind the column to create the suppressive pressure that allows the front elements to keep moving. From the ground. Looking at the formation as it left its staging area, the attack appeared to have the structure and mass needed to challenge the Ukrainian position it was heading toward. From the sky, the attack was already losing before it fired a single round. This is the first and most important thing to understand about how drone warfare has changed mechanized combat in Ukraine. The decisive moment in this engagement did not happen when the first FPV drone struck the lead vehicle. It happened earlier, when a Ukrainian reconnaissance UAV acquired the column while it was still forming, while the vehicles were still building the spacing and order that would carry them toward the front line. The moment that movement became battlefield data, the assault lost something it cannot get back. Surprise. And without surprise, a mechanized column loses the tempo advantage that makes it dangerous. From the ground, the Russian formation may have appeared confident. Tanks gave the attack weight. Armored carriers gave infantry the protection they needed to reach the line without being stopped by direct fire before they arrived. The supporting gun behind the column gave the entire assault a deeper reach, the ability to keep Ukrainian heads down and limit the defenders' ability to react to the armor coming directly at them. These are genuine combat advantages. They have decided engagements across every major conflict in the past century. But the drone operator watching from 1,500 feet above this column was not evaluating whether the Russian force had enough firepower. The drone was building a complete target picture, the lead vehicle and its role as the route setter for everything behind it, the tanks and their exact positions in the formation order, the armored carriers and how many infantry they were protecting, the supporting gun and its distance from the front of the column, the roads and tree lines and buildings ahead that could become either escape routes or trap points. Every detail that the formation revealed through its own movement, its spacing, its speed, its direction of travel, where it slowed and where it accelerated, became tactical data flowing back to Ukrainian command in real time. This is what makes early detection not simply a warning. Early detection is the first stage of a process that ends with the column destroyed. Once the Ukrainian side had a continuous aerial picture of the Russian assault, it could decide what needed to be struck first, what order the engagement should follow, and where the most efficient points to break the attack apart were located. The Russian side still had armor. It still had firepower. But the moment the column was being watched, its strengths began weakening in proportion to how completely they depended on moving through ground that was no longer blind to the defenders. The FPV drones became the sharp edge of the process once the column entered the prepared engagement zone, but they were not used indiscriminately. Ukrainian operators with a continuous live feed from the reconnaissance drone above could watch the column in real time and identify the targets that would cause the greatest disruption if struck, not necessarily the most heavily armored vehicle, but the vehicle whose loss would most damage the column's ability to function as a coordinated force. The lead vehicle mattered because stopping it stopped the road for everything behind it. A tank in the middle of the formation mattered because disabling it created an obstacle that forced other vehicles to work around it under continued drone observation. A mobility kill, stopping a vehicle without necessarily destroying it, was often sufficient because a vehicle sitting on a narrow road under an active reconnaissance UAV is as militarily useless as a vehicle that has burned. FPV operators approach their targets with this understanding. The thickest frontal armor of a main battle tank is not the primary target for an FPV drone. The target is the track, which stops the vehicle and costs roughly $50,000 to replace under field conditions. The engine deck at the rear of the vehicle, which is typically far thinner than the frontal armor. The optics, which if damaged leave the crew unable to engage effectively. The gap between the hull and the turret ring. The open hatch of a crew member who has exposed himself to check the terrain ahead. A shaped charge warhead that costs $200, delivered to the right location on a $4 million tank, can stop that tank as effectively as a more expensive anti-tank missile, because stopping it is enough. As the first vehicles were struck and the column began to lose coherence, Russian infantry made the transition that is almost inevitable once an armored column breaks apart under drone pressure. They abandoned the vehicles and moved toward the nearest available cover. Trees, bushes, the ruins of buildings that had been standing the last time anyone had reason to map this area. From ground level, this transition toward cover is the natural response to an ambush. The problem is that the sky that was watching the vehicles did not stop watching when the infantry left them. The drone teams shifted their attention from disabled and burning armor to the moving figures now scattered across the terrain around the road. The targets were smaller and faster than armored vehicles, and they were spreading across a wider area. But they were also isolated, without their heavy weapons, without communication with their command structure, and without any of the protection that the destroyed vehicles had provided. A soldier who runs from a burning BMP into a stand of trees believes he has improved his position relative to the burning vehicle. What he has actually done is separated himself from the unit, the weapons, and the coordination that made him part of a functioning assault force. Ukrainian drone operators searched the terrain with patience that individual soldiers hiding in vegetation could not match. A soldier who holds still under tree cover can break his visual profile from ground-level observation. From above, a drone circling at altitude can observe the entire tree canopy from multiple angles, identifying the disruption in the natural pattern that a crouching human body creates beneath the branches. Thermal imaging cameras take the problem further. The human body maintains a core temperature that differs measurably from the surrounding environment. A soldier lying in brush, hoping that the plants around him provide concealment, is producing a heat signature that reads clearly against the cooler background on an infrared display. The cover that worked against direct observation from the ground does not work the same way against a drone equipped with thermal optics looking down from above. Ukrainian drone teams continued actively searching the engagement zone for approximately 30 minutes after the initial strikes, checking tree lines, abandoned buildings, drainage ditches, and any position that offered the kind of concealment a dispersed infantry force would seek. This persistence is itself a tactical statement. The engagement did not end when the column stopped moving. It continued until the surveillance network had accounted for the infantry that had been part of the column and assessed whatever remaining threat they represented. At approximately the same point in the engagement, around 30 minutes after the initial strikes, Ukrainian reconnaissance began searching beyond the immediate ambush zone toward the supporting systems that had been positioned behind the assault. Artillery supporting a mechanized column is not a passive background presence. It is an active part of the attack, providing the suppressive fires that allow the front elements to continue advancing despite defensive resistance. Remove that supporting fire, and the infantry remaining in cover near the destroyed vehicles loses the protective envelope that gives them any ability to regroup, withdraw in an organized manner, or attempt to re-establish attack momentum. The supporting gun's location became the next target. Artillery fires in ways that reveal its position through the evidence it creates. The sound signature of discharge, the visual signature of propellant smoke, the movement pattern that follows each firing sequence as the crew attempts to reposition before counter-battery fire can locate them. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones can follow these signatures across the terrain, tracking the weapon back to its firing position through a combination of direct observation and pattern recognition built from prior engagements. Once the position is identified, the same kill chain that had processed the column, reconnaissance UAV providing location, FPV drone teams executing the strike, could be applied to the artillery system with the same efficiency. The same logic that applied to artillery fire support applied to the Grad multiple launch rocket system identified in a separate but related operation by the Signum Battalion. The Grad is designed for speed, volume, and mobility, a weapon that launches a large salvo and immediately relocates before responding fires can reach it. Its strength is the combination of rapid fire and rapid movement. Both of these strengths are reduced in an environment where the movement itself can be tracked by aerial surveillance assets that do not depend on the firing signature to find the target. A Grad crew that launches rockets in this environment is generating movement and emissions that give a pursuing drone team a starting point for a search that may conclude before the launcher has fully completed its repositioning. The destruction of a Grad is not only the removal of one weapon. It is a demonstration that the rear area where fire support operates is no longer protected by distance alone. Beyond the immediate fire support, Ukrainian drone operations in this engagement extended toward the logistics infrastructure that connects the damaged assault to the next one. A mechanized force that has suffered significant vehicle losses requires resupply to maintain its ability to pressure the same objective or redirect to another sector. Ammunition must move from storage points to the assault units. Fuel must reach the vehicles that survive the engagement. Spare parts and repair teams must reach damaged machines that can be recovered. Medical support must reach casualties. Communications links must function to connect dispersed elements back to their command structure. Each of these logistics functions requires movement along routes that can be observed by the same surveillance network that watched the assault column. A supply truck leaving a fuel depot and following a dirt road toward the front line is engaging in behavior that looks different from a combat vehicle, but generates the same kind of aerial observation opportunity. Ukrainian drone teams operating in the rear of the Russian operational area search for the movement patterns that indicate supply activity. Vehicles using the same routes repeatedly. Vehicles stopping at locations where other vehicles have previously stopped. Vehicles moving at times that correspond to the operational rhythm of the units they are supporting. A single truck struck on a supply route is not only a lost vehicle. It is a warning to every other driver on that route, a potential roadblock if it stops in the wrong location, and a demonstration that the distance between the supply depot and the front is not the same as the distance between safety and threat. The broader pattern that this battle illustrates applies to the full evolution of mechanized warfare under drone surveillance. The advantages of mass, armor, and artillery support that have historically made mechanized assault the dominant form of ground combat depend on a fundamental assumption that the attacking force can achieve a level of surprise, or at minimum a level of operational obscurity, that prevents the defender from fully preparing for the impact before it arrives. Drone surveillance, deployed in depth across an operational area and maintained continuously throughout an engagement, attacks that assumption at its foundation. A column that is detected before it reaches the defensive line does not arrive as a surprise. A formation that is being watched from above while it moves does not retain the operational initiative that movement is supposed to provide. Artillery that can be located and struck through the same surveillance network that tracked the assault loses the secure rear position that is supposed to make it effective. For Russia, the warning embedded in this engagement is not simply that it lost vehicles in one ambush. The warning is that the tactical method, mass mechanized assault with supporting fires and infantry, is becoming structurally incompatible with a battlefield where the sky provides continuous, real-time, high-definition surveillance of everything that moves. Ukraine is not responding to this challenge by building more tanks. It is building more eyes, more cheap strike systems, and faster decision loops. That combination is what turned this Russian assault from a multi-million-dollar offensive operation into a collection of burning metal and scattered infantry searching for cover in a tree line that the drone above could see through.